So, Friedrich Nietzsche's The Concept of Eternal Resource. It's one of the most radical thought-provoking idea in all time in philosophy, right? It's more challenging, but it's more like a test of life value, like a way of confronting the meaning of existence itself, right? The idea is simple but unsettling, right? So what if you had to live your life exactly as it again and again for eternity, right? Every mistake you're gonna make, every joy, every single moment, but repeatedly endless in an infinitive cycle. So would you recoil in a horror? So this is not just a theoretical question, right? Uh, Nietzsche presented more like a challenge. This philosophy, last video we discussed more about more complex thing. This is same as that. Not simple, not too hard, but really in a uh, deep philosophical question, I think. So I think Nietzsche introduced the idea of eternal resource in the gay science in I think 1882. Uh, in a passage, he says something. What if a demon were to creep after you into the loneliest some day or night, and say to you, "This life as you know live, and have loved it, you will have to live once more, and innumerable time more, and there will be nothing union, but every pain and every joy and every thought and sigh, everything unutterably small, great in your life, must return to you, right? All in the same sequence. So would you not throw yourself down and gnash your teeth and curse the demon who spoke this thing? So have you once experienced a tremendous moment when you would have answered him, right? You are a god and never have I heard anything more divine. So when I read the passage is more striking to me because it doesn't present eternal recurrence, right? As a doctrine to be believed, but as a test. The question is not whether the universe literally repeat itself, but whether you could live in such a way that you could be or would be willing to repeat your life forever. If you can say something like yes to that, then you achieve what Nietzsche called amor fati, so the love of fate. Uh, I know this concept when I was in like 2 years before, when I read several books about like say asking to myself is eternal recurrence mean to be taken literally, right? So there has been much debate about whether Nietzsche means eternal recurrence as a literal claim about the nature of time and reality, or as a purely psychological ethical concept, right? Uh, some scholars would say that Nietzsche tied within the idea of eternal recurrence as more like serious cosmological theory, influenced by people. I think 19th century discussion in physics. I think so. The logic behind is that if uh, time and matter are, let's say, it's infinite, and if the universe operates in cycle, then eventually every possible arrangement of uh, matter must repeat itself, right? Uh, and but this interpretation is not necessary for the idea to be uh, philosophically powerful. What matter is the impact that this thought uh, experiment has on how we live. So, eternal recurrence focus on us to confront the way we uh, experience time and meaning. So, it turns the idea of an afterlife upside down. So, not by promising reward, right, or punishment in other realm, but making this life the only one that matter. So this let's discuss the ethical challenge of eternal recurrence. Uh, so the idea is at this core talent, it's more like a challenge rather than doctrine. So Nietzsche is not asking whether you would theoretically accept the idea. So he's asking whether you can live as if it were true. So just think about a moment you are truly bound to live in your life, like uh, forever. Uh, then every second of your life gonna take on an infinite importance because it's gonna be relied forever. Uh, if this idea terrifies you, then according to Nietzsche, you are not truly affirming life. You are in some way resisting the concept. So to embrace recurrence is to embrace this life completely saturated, right? It could be pain, it could be joy. So would you say yes to the eternal recurrent? So this thing about the implication. So if you take Nietzsche's concept right more seriously, I could have a profound implication, I think, for how we're gonna live. So this doesn't mean uh, living with a deep awareness of every action significant, but every moment became uh, infinitely meaningful because it's gonna be uh, repeated, right? Eternally. So this idea or this concept aligned with me more about Stoic philosophy. Uh, I think more related to existentialist existentialism concept, right? If you think like Nietzsche, existentialists like Sartre and Camus, they say we must create meaning in a world that offers none, right? So this concept like Stoicism, uh, it similarly gonna teach that we must embrace whatever happened with uh, dignity, I think. But let's talk about today's world. Niche challenge is more relevant than ever. So many people live as if they are waiting for something. It could be the weekend, it could be a better job, it could be a different future, it could be a next holiday, but what if your life exactly as it right now, like concept of mindfulness? Uh, so many people go through life hoping that things gonna be much better, that the future will redeem the past. So eternal recurrence denies this comfort. It's gonna tell us that if we are waiting for uh, our lives to start, right, we are already wasting it according to this Nietzsche concept, right? So Nietzsche challenged us to live in a way that gonna make changes uh, necessary, right? And let me tell the conclusion what I learned from this concept. So Nietzsche eternal recurrence is not a thought experiment to me. It's more like a, let's say, demand, right? So it's gonna force us to keep at our life honestly and ask whether we are truly living in a way that we we want we would want to repeat forever. So it's more like a terrifying idea, right? But also liberating one, because once you accept that phenomenology, you realize that every experience, good or bad, became part of an existence that is truly yours. So you can ask yourself if a demand or whisper to you tonight that your life would repeat forever, unaddicted like that. Uh, so yeah.